Hello and welcome to week one of my new show. It's not really a show, it's a video blog. So not really a show, but you call it whatever you want. Yeah, week one of weekly stuff and things with Mathew Ruybal. I'm Mathew Ruybal and I will be discussing stuff, also things. Mostly movie stuff, because I'm a movie guy, movie stuff. You may remember when Scott Labrie and I had our show, The Movie Guys Podcast.
Welcome to the Movie Guys Podcast.
We are tonight's entertainment.
I'm Kirk Lazarus.
I've been called the Joker, and this is episode 35.
Took a lot of trying to get episode 35, and now we're up in the big leagues.
That was from our Halloween episode. That was a lot of fun, and I miss being the center of attention for short little bits of your time. That having been said, this won't be any longer than 10 minutes, ever. I'll discuss movies, TV shows, books, video games, comic books, anything that's interesting over the course of the previous week. As always, I welcome discussion and would love to hear your comments in the areas down there, not wearing pants, down there for comments. What? Oh. This week, in week one, I would like to discuss, first off, Disney's Frozen. This is now the highest grossing animated film of all time. It's grossed over $800 million, surpassing Finding Nemo as the highest grossing animated film. I am very torn on this one for a couple of reasons. One, it does a lot of things right, but my main issue with it is I didn't really feel a whole lot from it. I get that it's strong, empowered female characters. While it did break some new ground and try some new things that previously we haven't seen before, or that we're used to in the fairy tale genre, it still felt lackluster in a lot of ways. I didn't like the songs that much. I thought they were okay. It's also noteworthy to point out that this film was written and directed by a female writer-director. Second time, I think, since Beauty and the Beast that we had a Disney animated feature written by a female writer. So that's cool. I like that she tried to do some new things, breathe some new life into fairy tales. The classic fairy tale that Disney has told for years and years. They breathed new life into it, and I like that. But I still didn't feel very much with this movie. There was no connection between me and the characters, and maybe it's just because I'm getting older. That's entirely possible. But I think back even to Princess and the Frog, I really liked that one. It felt very Disney. I guess it made me think of my childhood, and that's one of the things I liked about it. And someone's leaf blowing, go figure. In the end, when the realizations are made by the characters, thereby allowing them to do the right thing or whatever they do in the end, it felt kind of like, duh, you just figured that out right now? I don't know, maybe I'm just getting too old for this sort of storytelling. I suppose that's possible. I don't think that's the case. I just feel like the storytelling in this particular film wasn't as strong as it could have been, and that's why I think it felt a little lackluster for me. It felt a little hollow and a little thin. Like I said, it did do a lot of things right, and the humor was pretty funny. There were a bunch of little things that this film does right, and I'm not knocking it in the sense that like, oh, it's terrible. It's not terrible by any means, but at the same time, I was still a little let down by this film. If I had to score it, I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's worth seeing, but it's definitely not one that I personally will probably watch, very often. Not that I sit around and watch cartoons a lot anymore anyways. Also, what the hell do I know? So, tell me why I'm wrong. Leave your comments below and we'll discuss Frozen some more, or whatever. Let's do a quick little transition over to television and what I've been watching this week. I've been treating myself to a little Series 3 Sherlock. It's a phenomenal show. If you haven't watched BBC's Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, you're definitely missing out and you should totally check it out. The first 2 series are on Netflix. If you haven't been watching this show, you might not know that in Sherlock they shoot 3 episodes per season. Each episode is an hour and a half long, so it's like getting a film, 3 films per season, which ultimately is only a little over 4 hours of content for a season, which is sort of thin. But the episodes are so well produced and so well written and so incredibly wonderful Holmes fiction that you kind of can let that slide. Gaming. Gaming's interesting right now. I bought an Xbox One. I don't have a PlayStation 4 yet. Kind of for the same reason I don't know why I have an Xbox One, really, which is what am I supposed to play? I know there are a few games out, Forza 5 obviously, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I can get some of the other games that were made on the on the 360 and the PS3 for the Xbox One, but it doesn't feel like there's anything to do yet. I'm eagerly awaiting Titanfall. I'll be reviewing that when it comes out. So if you have an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, let me know. What are you playing? What are you using these consoles for so far? They're great consoles, but we don't have the software yet. That's how I feel. As far as reading goes, I'm reading two things right now. One is a book called The Warded Man, or also known as The Painted Man, by Peter V. Brett. Originally it was released as The Painted Man when it was released in the UK, and they changed the title to The Warded Man because it felt like a stronger title and for other reasons and whatnot when it was released in the States. It's an American author, Peter V. Brett. It's part one of a 3-part series, at least as far as I know, The Demon Cycle. I'm not very far into it yet. It was recommended to me by my friend Sid. Hey Sid, thanks for the recommendation. I appreciate it. I'm not very far into it, but I will say I'm still reading it, which is a good sign. I'm about 30 or 40 pages in. I just started. I'll let you guys know what I think of that as we move forward. If you have any books you think I should read, let me know and I'll check them out. I'm also currently reading 100 Bullets, which is a comic book series by Brian Azzarello. A man shows up with a briefcase to some random person, seemingly random person, gives him the briefcase, and inside the briefcase is a photo or documented evidence of something that has happened to them in their past that has altered their course of life in a negative way. Evidence of who perpetrated it, who caused it, why they're where they're at now because of some person. Proof of that, a gun, and 100 unmarked, untraceable bullets that they can do with whatever they please. That's kind of the basic premise. It's a little more complicated than that, of course, but if you haven't read this, I would recommend it. I'm about halfway through. It's phenomenal stuff. Let's talk about the Super Bowl for a second. So depending on when this episode airs, it'll either be just before the Super Bowl or right around the Super Bowl. But as of shooting, it is now Friday, the Friday before the Super Bowl, and nothing has happened yet aside from all the talk, and all the media stuff. Obviously, I'm a Seahawks fan. I'm from Washington State, living in Texas now, representing the 12th man. Go Seahawks. That's all I'm going to say about the fanboy part of it. I'm very excited for this game. Should be awesome between the best defense and the best offense. I do want to mention something really quickly that kind of bugs me, and it's the Marshawn Lynch thing. The media gets all worked up because Marshawn doesn't want to talk to the media. He wants to be left alone, and they make this big deal about it. Just seems like another reason for people to hate on the Seahawks. And that's fine. If you don't like the Seahawks and their fans, you don't like them. That's your own business. The fact that the media almost forces you to talk to them about stuff is silly to me. When have they ever asked a really phenomenally good question? Not very often. Usually they ask stupid, inane things of these athletes nobody cares about anyway. It's just like their feelings are getting hurt because Marshawn doesn't want to talk to them. If you watch the video of Marshawn talking to Deion Sanders, that was a rad interview, and it showcased the kind of person he is. He's not about talk. He just wants to play the game. He doesn't want to sit in a booth and talk to the media. I think that's fine. The other side of that argument, obviously, is that it comes with the territory. It's part of your job. This is part of what you do. You have to talk to the media. Why are we still talking about it? He doesn't want to talk to the media? Don't make him talk to the media. If you have to fine him for it, fine him for it. Obviously, he doesn't care, and he's still not going to talk to the media. Just leave the guy alone already. Go talk to Russell Wilson or Richard Sherman. They want to talk to the media, and they're better at it, or stuff, depending on what you think about Richard Sherman. It just seems to be a silly thing to argue about, and to even talk about. But, you know, the media always has to say something about something, kind of like other people I know. Always have an opinion. Also, I don't really like how so many of the Super Bowl ads and the trailers that we're going to get for films have already been all leaked, and we kind of know about a lot of the stuff that's already going to happen for Super Bowl. Is it just me, or was that one of the fun things about Super Bowl, was not knowing what commercials you were going to see, not knowing which movie trailers they were going to show? Anyways, wherever you are and whoever you're rooting for, I hope you enjoy the Super Bowl this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great game. And next week's episode will either have me very sad or very happy. I love differing opinions, and I love discussing differing opinions because I find that I learn the most when I'm talking with someone who thinks something completely different than I think. That's how you grow and how you learn and discover new things. So by all means, if you have stuff to say, please leave it in the comments. That's it for this week. I will see you next week with another episode of Weekly Stuff and Things. Mathew Ruybal, I'm Mathew Ruybal. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. Why are you watching this?